Now, scarcity of the Naira currencies has persisted in the commercial banks in the country, despite the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN's directives to the banks to continue to issue accept old and redesigned Naira banknotes. According to reports, banks continued to rotate Naira notes to customers in the banking halls, while automated teller machines were programmed to dispense limited cash. Several factors have been attributed to the recent cash scarcity, including concerns that the CBN might ban some old denominations by year-end. However, in a statement, the CBN clarified that following a Supreme Court order, old versions of 200 Naira, 500 and 1,000 Naira banknotes would continue to be legal tender alongside the redesigned versions. Recall that the country faced massive cash scarcity between February and March this year, which resulted to the crumbling of some small businesses. Take a look at this. We are joined by chartered accountant Akin Fatunke. Akin, good to see you. Thanks for giving us your time. Despite the CBN directives, why do you think the scarcity of Naira persists, especially in commercial banks, and what impact does this have on customers?
Very clearly, economics follows cues. So it's one thing for central bank to give an assurance that old Naira notes are still legal tender indefinitely. But are they there? What exactly were the old Naira notes that we got from immediate past regime? Like I always say, you cannot manage what you do not measure. What is the quantum of measurement? And of course, central bank has also said that at the last count, 2.8 going to 2.9 trillion is in circulation. How factual is this? But we must not take it away that the commercial banks too might be playing some little pranks here and there. So we have had entries of black marketeers who have come into POS. The old Naira notes, if you go into the major markets, I'm talking of the normal major markets, foodstuff markets, that's where you have it. And information available says that they are being sold at a premium of 20%. So our Naira notes is still now being traded by way of, like a commodity for sale. The POS operators are already charging, as I hear, close to about 50% of the normal charge rates. What is really happening? I must say also that the owners of banks have allegedly decided that they will have to hoard the new Naira notes being kept for whatever reason. And the bank managers too are doing their own thing here and there. And I think regulation seems to be failing in between the line. So there are hands of Jacob and voice of Esau that is happening here in that marketplace. Pure and simple. Something is not time.
The previous cash scarcity between February and March and its consequences on small businesses. In your opinion, how would this recent scarcity affect small businesses?
It will stifle small businesses, unless if those small businesses are going to raise their cost of production by going to the POS, going to the banks, things that are done under the table, and naturally it's going to shrink our capacity to grow those sectors. That is one. Two, the ordinary retail people out there in the village, of course, it's like we are back to the dying days of Emefiele, where they are not going to be able to do their turnover, 5,000, 10,000 Naira turnover, be able to do that very easily. What does that do? It contracts the space, it contracts growth, it leads, even if care is not taken, sudden death, so to speak, because you cannot sell. unemployment will rake up quite naturally, and the ratchet effect that this will have had to try and help tame inflation, even if we want to curtail the circulation of Naira notes in the market, will have the indirect impact. Now, the central bank, if you remember, they removed around some 40-something, 43, 46 items from the prohibition list to help shore up the short supply that we have. But if you don't have the buying capacity, I think we're going to be having a bleak Christmas for most of the people. More business shuts down.
Not. I certainly hope not. Is there a way we can avoid that? What strategies can commercial banks implement to address or at least mitigate the persistent cash scarcity, ensuring smoother transactions for both the customers and the business?
I would say it has to start from the upstream before it gets to the commercial banks. There has to be regulation and control. And one of the few things that I will be recommending, for instance, will be the Naira notes that are released to the commercial banks. Can they be marked and can they be traced in a way that the commercial banks are dispensing either to the ATMs, to their POS, and over the counter? Secondly, I think there has to be some measure of strictness. Anybody found to be hoarding, because I believe strongly, even though not proven, that there's an element of hoarding here. The Supreme Court has clearly said that they remain to be legal tender. Are we losing faith in the capacity of our laws that will be consistent? I understand we've been having a lot of topsy-turvy and a lot of changes here and there. There are certain things that the people at the helm of affairs know that they are not disclosing to us. There are terrible economic sabotage that they are trying to stem. Need to communicate that to us. So regulation should be such that if I have given you a quantum, I want to see how that quantum has been dispensed on a regular and daily basis. And regulators must live up to their function and audit control.
All right, one quick one for the road. Are there potential long-term solutions that could be implemented to prevent recurring cash shortages in Nigerian commercial banks?
Let's be less opaque. Let's be much more communicative. Let's know exactly where we are going. I have an idea that we have a roadmap, but a lot of topsy-turvies that are going on out there, changing policy, changing direction. The fiscal space, like Mr. Wale said, has been crowded out. Okay, so what then do we have? What target inflation really do we want to get, given the fact that quite a number of things are out of our hands? And like I said, regulation. I like the central bank to begin to mark the currency that they have given out and see how they are being utilized. 1, 2. I also like to say, from my position, that customers, people like us, we have to give the benefit of doubt to government. We should not take these notes and begin to hoard them, thinking that things will change in some other dramatic way.
Right.
We need trust and confidence in the system so that things can go on in a manner that we plan.
I certainly hope that confidence is reestablished. Thank you very much, as always, for giving us your time.
Thank you very much, Felicity.